Okay, today we're talking about proportion word problems. Now, we've already done some of these in class, so I'm not going to go over every single problem with you. I will go through each one of them, but the ones that we have already done, if you didn't get them or missed them, you feel free to pause the video and get anything that you need to get. In this video, there aren't any definitions, there aren't any steps. It's just showing you, they're not written steps, there's just examples. So make sure you get several of those, because some of them are different types of problems. Okay, so the straightforward one we went over in class. 40 is what percent of 300? I'm not going to go over it again. I'm just going to flip through it. If you need to pause at any point to take notes, please do so. Okay, we did the fish pond in class as well. So same thing. Make sure you read the question, figure out what you're comparing for your answer, and figure out what it's giving you to compare. Okay, so we did this one again. Pause whenever you need to get the answer down. The bottom line says if there are 64 bass, there are 112 catfish, there's a total of 176 fish in the pond. The barnyard is very similar. The barnyard is very similar to the fish problem. We have 12 chickens to 7 sheep. If there are 49 sheep, how many total animals are there in the barn? Total's not there, but you can imply that word. Excuse me. All right. So I set up my ratio of, let's try this, let's see if this is better, of 12 chicken to 7 sheep. And then I want to know how many chicken are there if there are 49 sheep. So that's not better. So I'm going to set up my proportion. I'm just going to move my screen around because I need to. And I get 12 over 7 equals x over 49, just like it is in the box right here. I'm going to cross multiply, and I get 558 equals 7x. So I bring those down along with my equal sign to get my one-step equation. When I divide both sides by 7, I get 84. So there are 84 sheep. But I'm not done, because the question wasn't how many chickens are there. Sorry, 84 chickens. The question was not how many chickens are there, it was how many animals. So now I have to add 49 and 84 to get 133. Again, I think most of us did this one in class. This is the Cookie Monster. Will can eat 5 cookies. There we go, let's try that. For every 3 that Monica eats, if Monica eats 9 cookies, how many will eat? I like the will. So I set up my, I like the video movie thing too. I set up the rectangle. Now I set it up one way. It doesn't matter how you set it up. What you need to know is you're comparing Will to Monica. You're comparing Will's number of cookies to Monica's number of cookies. I use the ratio they gave us, 5 to 3, and it wants to know how many Will eat if Monica ate 9. So I'm going to set it up just like it is. I'm going to cross multiply and get 45 equals 3x. I'm going to bring down my cross products and my equal sign to make a one-step equation, which we can all solve. We divide both sides by 3 and we get x is 15. If Monica eats 9 cookies, Will should eat 15 cookies. Okay, music choices. This is similar to the fish and the animals, but I'm working it a little bit differently. If the way that we did it works really, really well for you, stick with it. If it doesn't, check this out, see if it makes a little more sense. For every 5 rappers, there are 9 country singers. If there are 56 musicians in the room, how many are rappers? So in our question, we're comparing the number of musicians to the number of rappers. But the first ratio that we're given is 5 rappers and 9 country singers. Now I can take my 5 rappers and 9 country singers and I can figure out how many total musicians there are in that ratio. 5 plus 9 is 14. So it is fair to say that I have 5 rappers for 14 musicians. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and what this is going to do is it means I don't have to add at the end of my problem. It's going to be what it is. So I'm going to set it up. 5 over 14 equals x over 56, and again, cross multiply. 280 equals 14x. So I bring my cross products and my equal sign down. Gives me a one-step equation where I divide both sides by 14, and I get x equals 20. So if there are 56 musicians, 20 of them are rappers. pieces of mail. This says the U.S. Postal Service. That's even better. I like it. The U.S. Postal Service handles 170 million pieces of mail each year. This is 40% of the world's total mail. How many pieces of mail are sent each year around the world? So we're going to set up a rectangle. We're comparing percentages to the amount of mail. So what I know is that 100% of the world, we don't know that. I know 100% is a number that I don't know. So I'm going to use X as my world mail. 40% of that mail is 170 million. That's what we use in the U.S. So now I set up my ratio, my proportion, just like it is in the problem. 100 over 40, X over 170, and I get, ultimately I get 17,000 equals 40x. Because I cross multiply, and we all know how to do that at this point. And now it's a one-step equation, which we also all know how to do, where we divide by 40. X equals 425. Now don't forget we're dealing with millions. So the world sends 425 million pieces of mail around the world. Okay. Shopping mall. In part because of the popularity of outlet malls, and about 300 of the 1,800 traditional retail malls across the United States may close in the next few years. Find the percent of retail malls that may close. Okay. What we are comparing here is the number of malls to the total number of malls to the number that will close. Oh, I'm sorry. We're comparing the percentage to the number of malls. Okay, percent to retail malls. So let's set up our box. Mall to percent. It tells us the total number of malls is 1,800. It tells us that 300 of them are going to close. I know that 1,800 is 100%, but I don't know what percentage 300 is. So now I have to set up my, I gave you the answer before I gave you the problem. That's okay. I need to set up my proportion up here. 1,800 over 100 equals 300 over x. I'm going to cross multiply. I will bring down my cross products and my equal sign. Now that's a lot of zeros. I could divide by 100 and take 2 zeros off each of these, which would give me 18x equals 300. If that doesn't make sense to you, it's okay. You can do it this way. There's just a lot of zeros. So I'm going to divide by 1,800 and I get 16.7. So 16.7% of the traditional malls will close in the next few years. And that's all for today. Enjoy your evening.